Hello everyone, and thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Tales by the Fire. Last time, we read Chapter 2 of Marked by Darkhawk 14. In it, we found out how our main character Calla has grown up as a person. We saw the life she lived, the friends she'd made, and how the curse has affected her. But now, she's learned of a possible cure in the far-off land of Kokaba, and has been assigned a bodyguard named Dante. Who is this mysterious bodyguard? What is his story? And how will he feel about Calla's curse? Find out in this episode of Tales by the Fire.
"Hey, Dante,"
said a familiar voice. I turned and looked, seeing one of the barmaids from the local tavern. She smiled at me through red-painted lips and gave me a small wink. "What is it?" I asked. The woman was attractive, but I felt nothing other than mild disdain. She wore too much perfume and makeup, and her teeth were stained and crooked.
"There's someone looking for you back at the tavern. You should go see what they want. The man looks pretty important," she said,
her voice husky and suggestive despite her mundane words. I nodded and turned back to the bar, without another glance or word. I saw the familiar sign of the Wolf's Den and went in, scowling at the smoky haze.
"Oh, hi, Dante,"
said a familiar barmaid with a smile, then a frown.
"You know you aren't supposed to bring weapons in here," she said,
gesturing at the sword on my back. I'm not going to disarm myself, I stated simply.
"I knew that was coming. Anyway, the man sitting back there is waiting for you. You saw your flyer, I guess."
I noticed the man who stuck out like a sword in a quiver of arrows. He was too well dressed, and the way he sat was tense, as if he knew he didn't fit in here. I felt the same way, but for different reasons. He looked up as I approached, his green eyes and red hair suggesting he was a citizen of Viraki, the name of the country I was currently in. Good day, sir," he said. "Are you Dante Kianye, the bodyguard?" "Yes, I am. You have a job for me." He pushed his spectacles up onto his nose. "I am a servant of His Majesty King Alaric Viraki Biramont III. "That's a mouthful," I muttered dryly. "The king would like me to hire you, if you're interested. Please, come with me so we can talk somewhere more private, as this is a confidential matter." The king? Why would he need to be hiring a nearly unknown bodyguard like me? And doesn't he already have his own personal bodyguards? I followed the servant out to the street, and he led me to a small house, probably part of the king's property. He led me in, then shut the door behind me, gesturing for me to sit. Instead, I stood, not trusting him enough to make myself vulnerable. I felt my dagger securely at my belt. "The king would like you to escort someone from Castle Varrock to Kokaba." "That's it?" I asked, incredulously. "That would be an easy job." "Is this person a criminal or something?" "I don't know anything more," said the servant. "His Majesty says that if you accept, you must return to the castle with me." "I accept," I said simply, and then followed him out, back into the city, then went up to the castle. The walk was quite long and silent. The castle loomed up in the distance, with its formidable stone turrets. I felt a bit uneasy, but not nervous or afraid. We entered the castle, and thoughts of the money I would be paid filled my head. The castle was more grand than any building I'd entered for a long time. Servants bustled through the massive halls, giving me curious glances. My boots tapped quietly on the stone floor as I followed the servant. I looked around, wary, thinking this may all be a trap to snare me. I was led into a throne room, where the king sat on his throne. The servants departed, leaving me alone with the king, 2 guards, and the queen. Then even the guards were dismissed. The king seemed to notice my train of thought. "Do you think I'm leaving myself vulnerable? My marks could destroy you before you even move a muscle. Now, come closer so we can speak," he said. Immediately I disliked his voice. It was rough and uncaring, but I approached and knelt, then got back on my feet. "Do you pledge to carry out your duties no matter what? Because I will not tell you the specifics unless you agree," said the king. His emerald eyes hard. His face was lined from years of stress, his arms covered in dark marks. "What's my payment?" I asked. 5,500 gold pieces, he said. I left my face expressionless, but on the inside I was shocked. That was over 1 year's wages. The task must be impossible, I thought. Oh well, no loss if I die. I accept. Good. Now, the one you will be escorting is Princess Callista Renata Varaki Biramont, daughter of myself and Queen Ariana. Again, I fought to remain emotionless. I had only ever heard about their son, Prince Casimir. Never had I heard a daughter. She was born with a mark, but she is faulty, and is not able to control her mark or herself. As a result, when she is angered or made afraid, she changes into a monster. She attacked her brother years ago, and she has been locked up ever since. But now she is getting too strong to be contained, even with my strongest wards marked on the door. She is a danger to Her Majesty the Queen, myself, and young Prince Casimir. So, she must be eliminated. She is to be escorted to Kokoba. The country has agreed to destroy her and keep it quiet for free. Your job is to get there and make sure she does not return. If anything happens and she changes, or if those in Kokoba fail to kill her, it will be your job to destroy this monster. If any of this information is leaked, you will be hunted down and killed. I nodded, but inside I was chilled. What kind of monster was this girl? Her own father feared her enough to order her death. I felt no guilt at agreeing. My consciousness had been silenced long ago. The queen remained silent and stared at me with sad eyes. You leave tomorrow morning, said the king. You may stay in the castle tonight and use whatever supplies you need. Dismissed. The next morning I woke up early. I thought of borrowing some castle goods to bring, but I didn't like carrying any baggage with me. I strapped on my broadsword and went to the atrium where the girl would be soon also. As I lounged in the shadow of the column, a higher-ranked man entered the room with a young maid at his side. She was beautiful and had long red hair that tumbled down to her waist. Her hazel eyes were bright, and she shone with some natural beauty.
Where's the bodyguard?
She asked the man with her. I'm right here, I said, taking a step forward. This is Princess Callista Renata Varaki Biramont, said the man next to her, smiling proudly. If I hadn't known any better, I would have expected him to be her father. Am I supposed to bow? I asked with a laugh, looking for the real princess.
I may not have green eyes of Iraqi royalty, but I assure you that I am the daughter of the king and queen,
she said with a strange, painful smile. She lifted her thick hair away from her neck, showing the intricate mark, like none I had ever seen before. Your father saw it fit to explain to your guard the nature of your mark, princess, hastily explained the red-haired man to the girl. She looked at me, her eyes searching for a reaction. I wasn't sure what she saw, but she smiled. Pardon my ignorance, your majesty, I said, wondering how her father could send her away to be killed. She must truly be a monster inside.
Just call me Kala,
she said with a kind smile. My name is Dante Kianye, I said, staring up into her eyes, trying to find the malice in them. At first, I saw nothing hateful in them at all, but then I saw pain in them, then chilling hate. I smiled slowly, wondering just what kind of creature this girl changed into. I suppose we ought to get going then. This is a long trip, I said, looking at the red-haired man. He nodded. Goodbye, princess. He put his hand on her shoulder in parting. Then he spun quickly on his heel and left, as if trying to go before he changed his mind about something. Did he know where she was going to be sent? And for what reason? I doubted he knew, but I was quite sure he could guess something wasn't right. The girl, however, obviously knew nothing. She would not smile if she knew she was heading off to her death. Or perhaps she would. Let's go then, I said simply, and led her to the castle entrance. The guards there opened the massive double doors, and I walked into the sunlight. She hung back for a moment, wincing at the sun, but I continued without her. From what I had heard, she could take care of herself all too well. I wanted to keep my distance from that creature. She frolicked about like a foolish child, and I struggled to hold back my temper. It was as if she had never been outside before, the way she marveled at everything. The first part of this journey was long and silent. That was Chapter 3 of Marked by Darkhawk14. Thank you all for listening, and like always, if you want to hear more from Darkhawk14, you can check out her fictionpress.com account in the description. And I'll see you all next time on Tales by the Fire.